From WNIJ Studios on the campus of Northern Illinois University, this is Sessions from Studio A. We are joined this week by Orillia, the new project from singer-songwriter Andrew Marzak. He released his debut solo album as Orillia last year, recording the whole album in one day straight to tape. Orillia stopped by Studio A for a performance recorded live, along with his partner Peach, who supplies some wonderful vocal harmonies to the session. We'll hear songs from his new self-titled record and talk music, documentaries, and get a little of Orillia's background. Stay tuned, that's coming up this hour on Sessions from Studio A. You are listening to Sessions from Studio A. I'm Spencer Tritt with our special guest this week, Orillia. Singer-songwriter Andrew Marzak brings his love of folk music and Americana to the forefront with this new project. He just released his debut self-titled album, Orillia, last November, and today he'll start his live session with the final song on the record. This is Orillia with Cannery Row, recorded live on Sessions from Studio A.
Don't you know the place to go? Down on Cannery Row. Baby, let her sing her poison songs. She could sing it all night long. Doesn't think about you when you're gone. Down on Cannery Row. Doo 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 doo. If you're feeling like a waste of time, well, tonight you're working 5 to 9. Love is better to lose than find. Down on Cannery Row. If you're feeling like a waste of time, well, tonight we'll work you till you're blind. Love is better to lose than find. Down on Cannery Row. Pontoon boat that we can rent just for the season. Gonna get a big girl job at the hotel bar. It's gonna make my life so easy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Got any more of that? I can't get my act together. Mom stopped sending money way back in December. And what can you stand to lose? Just in one summer. Just in one summer. Just where the snakes all know my name. Feels like the den of an artist who's hid himself away. Do you have a pontoon boat that we can rent just for the season? Gonna get a big girl job at the hotel bar. It's gonna make my life so easy. And all the snakes sing, ooh, yeah, they went ooh, yeah, they went ooh, yeah, they went ooh.
This is Sessions from Studio A, and you just heard Orillia performing live here in the studio with us at the end of their tour. We're the last stop for you guys, so thanks so much for coming out to DeKalb and playing in Studio A with us today. I'm joined with Andrew and special guest today, too, Peach, here with us.
Hey guys, what's up?
Thanks
so
for
much
coming
for
out.
having us. Yeah.
So you're based in Chicago right now. Is that where you grew up?
No, so I was born in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada, and then kind of grew up in Germany. Actually, I was in Germany till I was about like 10 years old for most of that, and then lived in Pittsburgh for like high school. So I've been all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So where did songwriting come in for you? When did you first start writing your own music and also getting into folk music? Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about some of your beginnings.
Definitely. So, I mean, my mom studied piano and violin at Interlochen in Michigan, and was kind of possibly going to go into a career of professional music, but didn't end up choosing that route. Instead, got into some more businessy things. But she always kind of had a love for that and for like musical theater and that kind of stuff. My whole family really. So I kind of got into music through like musical theater in like elementary school and middle school. But I didn't really get into like playing instruments or writing songs until college. My dad had got me really into Johnny Cash growing up. So I always had kind of a love for that and that kind of country music, but like particularly like, yeah, weirder, darker country music that, that kind of led me towards. And then, yeah, in college, I decided to pick up mandolin because I had trouble playing guitar in the past. And I thought mandolin would be a little bit easier. So I've got 4 sets of 2 strings, seemed a little simpler. And then kind of my mandolin teacher was like, do you want to be a bluegrass music minor? It's not that hard. So I did. And then I started writing songs and playing guitar.
Oh, wow. A minor in bluegrass. I love that.
Yeah.
And where did you go to school
I went
again?
to Denison University in, it's like half an hour east of Columbus. It's a really small, historic liberal arts school. It's a really beautiful campus. Yeah.
Very cool that they have a program in bluegrass too. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Definitely could see then where you got your love for kind of folk and all of that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Peach, what about you? How long have you been singing for?
I'm actually not really a musician by trade. I've been singing since I was a small child, and similar to Andrew, musical theater, I was primarily a dancer, but never really picked up instruments. I went more of a visual art kind of route, so I went to school and had been studying photography for a really long time. It was my favorite, and still is one of my just favorite things to do and to think about. But I love listening to music, and I just can't stop singing it also. So it's just like really fun to be able to be with Andrew when he's working on the music that he makes, and then also get to like participate in the enjoying of it by doing it with him. So
I love that. Yeah. And your harmonies are really tight together. We'll hear you both singing on some here in the set today. And yeah, and we should mention too that you're both partners. Is that right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
you probably just hear these songs all the time too, and and like you're probably singing them, around the
Yeah.
house. So he made you jump on a few too.
Yeah.
I felt really proud actually when we were playing our show in Pittsburgh. Andrew forgot a part of a song, and I was sitting in the front row because I wasn't yet on stage, and helped him remember the lyrics. Just yelled like, next word is rhododendron, baby. Like,
Yeah.
and he got it. Well, and when we actually started dating, we bonded a lot over loving country
like
and folk
Townes
music.
Van Zandt and well, yeah, I was very impressed. I guess where we were having a chat and I was talking about my favorite documentary, Heartworn Highways, which is like an old kind of like outlaw folk documentary with like Townes Van Zandt and Guy Clark and all those people. And
Incredible film.
I mentioned it, and Peach was like, "Oh, I love that movie." And I was like, "What? Wait, really? You've seen that?" Like, 'cause it's kind of a niche, weird movie that I feel like I've not met too many people that have seen it. So I was instantly I was like, "This is." It's
called
something here.
Heartworn Highways.
Heartworn Highways.
I'll have to check
Yeah,
that out.
you can like
recommend,
only it's not streaming anywhere from what I know, but I like my mom bought the DVD for me for Christmas one year.
I think I watched it on YouTube, maybe.
It's a great watch. Yeah, there's definitely clips of it on YouTube, if not the whole thing. Probably someone's put on there.
Oh,
But
cool. I'm a big fan of documentaries. You were talking about documentaries in the studio too. My
Definitely,
favorite music documentary is Metallica, Some Kind of Monster.
I've
is
heard-
one of the most wild movies you've ever seen. It's basically a real life Spinal Tap.
right. Actually, a friend of mine got me that on VHS, but I still have yet to rebuy a VHS player so I can or VCR so I can start actually watch it. But yeah, I've heard that.
Wow, it's a great doc, and I love music documentaries too. So I'll have to check out Heartworn Highways as well.
definitely
That
do.
sounds really cool. But I want to ask about your debut self-titled album as Orillia just came out at the end of 2024, and this is your first full release as Orillia.
That's correct. Yeah.
What led up to this album? Have you released music with other
Yes.
projects?
Yeah,
since?
lots of music. Yeah, so I've been like playing in bands for I don't know, maybe like 8 years or so. I kind of started playing kind of at the tail end of college in Ohio. I moved to Columbus shortly after graduating, and kind of was part of the, I guess, like indie or like kind of like punk music scene there, playing in, kind of more like indie rock bands, more that kind of stuff. But yeah, I played at a band called the Roof Dogs for a while, and we put out a bit of self-release music, and then we signed like a little record deal, and put out a record like a couple years ago, actually kind of right around when I met Peach, and that band, still friends with all those guys, but we kind of like all kind of were going different routes musically. So some people in the band wanted to continue kind of doing more that kind of stuff, and I kind of felt myself more and more just like it didn't feel authentic to me to be making that kind of music anymore, and I really wanted to focus more on like folk music and like kind of outlaw country or alt country and that kind of stuff, which Chicago just has such a rich scene and just kind of community built around too.
I've sold off all the furniture, still chic enough to sell. I'm making new connections, ones we know won't end well. I'm switching into characters, ones I've never played before. I'm saying things once meaningful that don't mean things anymore. I caught a train to Miles City, and its rolling lifeless hills, an emblem of contrition, years of Dionysian thrills. Spread my ashes in the reservoir where the Sunday swimmers choose to dive into the blackness and relieve their point of views. My makeup starts to run now as I greet the cold spring rain. I'm shocked to feel emotion as it enters unrestrained. Yeah, something in me's Yes, I'm confident my medicine will make things good again. Again.
Orillia on Sessions from Studio A. That one was called Things, and it's from his new debut album, self-titled Orillia. You can find that on streaming services and available for download over on Bandcamp. Stay tuned, we will be right back after a short break with more music and more from our talk with Orillia here on Sessions from Studio A. Welcome back to Sessions from Studio A. You are hearing our session with Orillia, recorded live in WNIJ's Studio A. We're hearing songs from his new album that was released last November. It's singer-songwriter Andrew Marzak's debut album as a solo artist after playing in bands for many years and then taking an interest in folk and Americana music on this record. In a little bit, we'll hear more from my talk with Orillia about the album, but first, let's hear another one from that recorded live in Studio A. We'll let Orillia introduce this one. You're listening to Sessions from Studio A.
This next song is called Shrimp Shack, and I wrote it after visiting a very strange shrimp shack in the woods in Florida, in this kind of swampy little small town.
Shrimp shack, drunk on 4-1, afraid to take the heads off, but I've got to. Poor sweep, still breathing, staring at space. Believe me when I say there will be hell to pay. Believe me when I say there will be hell to pay. And on my sacerdotal intuition, blending in, don't talk, just listen. Hallelujah, jealous fishing, dancing drunk across the kitchen, and my, what fine work you do. My, what fine work you do. My, what fine work you do. My, what fine work you do.
Let's talk a little bit about the album. So this is your debut self-titled album as Orillia. I really love the recording quality of this and the production. You were
Thank
talking
you.
a little bit
Yeah.
in the studio about the fidelity of it.
Sure,
And I
sure,
think you
sure.
captured a nice
Yeah.
balance on this record where it's
Yeah.
not like overproduced.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of kept some of that realness, that rawness.
Totally.
Tell me a little bit about that kind of philosophy
Recording?
of
Yeah.
fidelity with recordings.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean this. I've wanted to record solo records for a long time, and I just haven't felt ready to do it. But there's kind of, finally felt like it was time, and I kind of created some. I guess all rules are kind of arbitrary, but some like arbitrary rules about like how to make the record. I wanted to record the whole record in one day, with a small band of people, all acoustic, nothing plugged in. And everyone in the room at the same time singing all the parts and playing all the parts. There was no overdubs or anything. So it was what you hear on the record is what it sounded like in the room. We had my good friend, Doug Malone, who runs the studio Jam Deck in Chicago. He's the one that recorded it. And then my friend Tristan Hugan, who played on the record as well, played dobro and guitar and other things. He helped arrange a lot of the harmonies. He mixed it. But yeah, in terms of the fidelity, it was recorded basically to the tape machine they had there, the like big reel-to-reel to 2-inch tape, and then kind of exported from that. Definitely wanted a little bit of that kind of just like tape warmth that you have, but it was still like it was recorded on it's actually the same. I think he bought it from Isaac Brock, the tape machine that it was
Of Modest Mouse.
Of Modest Mouse, yeah. So that's like what it was recorded through essentially. But yeah, I think I definitely always lean more towards things that are a little that sound a little more lo-fi. I mean, I would still consider that a high fidelity record. But yeah, I mean, like the next record that I'm working on right now is going to be recorded on a cassette. Very fuzzed out and kind of gross, more early Mountain Goats-esque, I guess. But yeah.
Well, and one thing you did on the record that I loved is there's a song where you have the studio recording, but then you also have your recording that you just did on the phone.
Yeah, right,
So you
right.
can kind of hear these two versions.
Yeah,
and that's
thank you.
so like I was thinking about Mountain Goats, and if they would have had cell phones that could record
Totally.
audio in the
I
90s,
could
they
see it.
they would have just recorded whole albums on the phone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, we ended up recording the like studio version of it, but the original like the phone version is just the version when I like first wrote the song. I was just like, I just got to get this down, and that was literally the first time I ever played through it. And there was something about the way I sang it, I think just kind of like as you're discovering the song, that I feel like the studio version I wasn't able to capture the same kind of feeling. Which I still really like the studio version, but it felt like a fun thing to insert into the record to add a little variety in terms of the kind of sound of it. You lose the tape hiss for a second, but it still kind of sounds a little lo-fi and everything.
I think if I could also say how it makes a little bit more sense to how I see you saying, like, oh, I had been wanting to do this for a long time. Like when I decided I was ready for it, you had written enough pulled from different periods of your life where you've always been writing songs from when you started, and you could see that each song represented different like parts of your life and your growth as a songwriter. Like that was something that you did by playing with these other bands and working with your community. So like from day one, you were like continuous takes. We're all in the room together. Like I want to build Orillia with the people who have been building it with me all along. And
that's a really good point. Definitely like a lot of the people that, you know, played on the record, on the Orillia record. Yeah. We're like, played in bands or still play in bands with some of those guys.
Cool.
And like an Orillia show is very classic. Orillia show move is like, oh, I think that my friend Jesse is in the audience, and I really liked this one time when we sang the song together. Do you want to come up and sing it with me right now?
Yeah, he wasn't like he wasn't like, planning for it at all. He's just like, which one? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, he just jumped up. So.
We are talking with Orillia this hour on Sessions from Studio A. Orillia is singer-songwriter Andrew Marzak, and we're also joined by his partner Peach for the interview, and we'll hear some great harmonies from them coming up on a few more songs after the break. Stay tuned with us. We'll be right back in just a minute here with more music from Orillia. You're listening to Sessions from Studio A. Welcome back to Sessions from Studio A with singer-songwriter Orillia. His new self-titled album is out now everywhere on streaming services and available on Bandcamp. Coming up in just a moment, we'll hear another one from that, one of my favorites from the record, Tonight We Sleep Like Kings. But first, he brought a cover of a traditional folk song into the studio for the show this week. This is In the Shadow of the Pines. It's Orillia, recorded live on Sessions from Studio A.
We wandered through the shadows of the pines, my love and I, as the winds were blowing freshly from the sea, when a sudden fitful darkness swept across the summer sky, and the shadows came between my love and me. Some hasty words were spoken, and almost unawares, hasty answers to unthinking, angry lips. And our hearts felt bitter longings, and our weepings and our prayers ne'er can make such false, cruel words unsaid. Come back to me, sweetheart, and love me as before. Back to me, sweetheart, and leave me nevermore. In life's dark pathways, the sun no longer shines. Come love and meet me in the shadow of the pines. Took the ring I gave you, nor you cast one glance at me, as you held the jeweled trinket in your hand. And then you went and tossed it in the waters of the sea, while the waves were splashing idly on the sand. You went your way unheeding the tears I could not hide. You went your way and not a word was said, and a stubborn heart was breaking underneath this mask of pride, and the pine tree sobbed in pity overhead. Come back to me, sweetheart, and love me as before. Back to me, sweetheart, and leave me nevermore. In life's dark pathway, the sun no longer shines. Come love and meet me in the shadow of the pines. from bitter dreaming, but to call aloud your name. I'll sleep again to dream of you once more. My stubborn pride has left me, I admit I was to blame. Forgive me, dear, and love me as before. For the future's overshadowed with the darkness of despair. In the joy of life, love's sun no longer shines. And I'd give this whole world gladly once again to meet you there, reunited in the shadow of the pines. Come back to me, sweetheart, and love me as before. Back to me, sweetheart, and leave me nevermore. In life's dark pathway, the sun no longer shines. Come love and meet me. Come love and meet me. Come love and meet me in the shadow of the pines. I saw you crawl underneath that truck. Looking for shelter. I guess you'd run out of luck. Where did you come from? You said, well, I could ask you the same, but we'll keep real quiet. That is, in relation to the rain. Tonight we sleep like kings. Tonight we sleep like kings. Tonight we sleep like kings under a pickup truck. Nothing in pursuit of us but morning. The sky, it is that color which always slips my mind. But I wanna call it freedom, and I'd kill to call it mine. That age-old saying, for when it comes to be your time to carry those of us who don't make it, names that fizzle out, thoughts that die. Tonight we sleep like kings.
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 Tonight we sleep like kings under a pickup truck. Nothing in pursuit of us but morning. Tonight we sleep like kings. I saw you crawl underneath that truck. Looking for shelter.
There was one song in the set I wanted to ask about because we were talking about our love of documentaries earlier. And you mentioned you were working on a documentary about your friend that passed away. And the song Tonight We Sleep Like Kings is about about this.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that song and about this
Totally.
documentary project about his life.
Yeah, so the song isn't necessarily directly about him, but definitely like there was a time where this is my friend Blake Nelson, who I met while going to school in at Denison in Granville, Ohio. He was just kind of like a local songwriter, you know, that was writing really beautiful songs and was kind of a strange character that didn't seem to have any necessarily like inspiration to become famous, but just like was writing for the sake of writing, which is for the sake of the song, as Towns would say. But yeah, he definitely got me into a lot of really cool music, and there was a point where me and him both did want to like kind of just like run away and hop trains and do the whole kind of like that sort of lifestyle, and we got pretty close to actually doing it. And I think, you know, Tonight We Sleep Like Kings was inspired by some trips out west and some other things, but there was maybe some part of it that was also kind of like, you know, something that me and my friend Blake could have done, kind of like exploring the West together. But yeah, and the documentary is kind of a passion project where I'm trying to film about his life. Like he passed away from like an opioid overdose, and you know, very young, and he just was such an inspiration. But like so few people actually know about his music, and so it's kind of a project to, you know, make this like short film documentary to kind of help introduce more people to him, and also like for myself, like learn more about him, and kind of we'd lost touch towards the end, and just kind of a way to kind of work through some of that stuff, you know.
Well, it sounds like a great project to pay respect to him and for his memory too. Thanks for telling us a little bit about that one. Tonight
sure.
We Sleep Like Kings. Love that song.
Thank you.
Tell us what is next for you. You're finishing up this tour now.
Yeah.
What's coming up next for you as we get into March and into spring of this year? Do you have any shows coming up? Any plans for the future here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I do have some shows coming up that I'm not sure if they're announced yet, but I will be playing a show in March, I believe, in Chicago. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to announce it yet, but we also I'm going to be going on tour in August and September of this year, including some dates in Germany that I haven't.
Back to your childhood,
back to my
stomping
childhood
ground.
Yeah, so I'm playing about 5 shows in Germany in September. So really excited about that.
Cool. Is that your first time playing overseas?
That'll be my first time playing overseas.
Cool.
So yeah, really excited for that. That should be, all the details of that should be announced probably in the next couple months. But
exciting.
Yeah.
And that leads me to next question. Where can people find more from you and dates and music and all of that?
Absolutely. Well, you can definitely go to my Instagram handle, which is it's like Orillia, 3 L's. Or Orillia.bandcamp.com. I've got music and stuff on there. Working on a website, so that'll make it easier. But I do have an email list that you can sign up for through my Instagram like link tree. But
Great.
definitely planning to do a lot more touring through the Midwest and stuff. So keep an ear out.
Yes, and that's so Orillia with 3 L's on Instagram, and then the record is on Bandcamp. You mentioned. So.
Yep, the record's on Bandcamp, and you can stream it on all the regular streaming services and stuff like that.
Great.
Yeah.
Buy a copy over on
Yeah.
Bandcamp there. Orillia, thanks so much again for coming out to Studio A.
Yeah.
This was a beautiful set. Thanks so much for playing with us and
Thanks so
talking
much
with
for
us
having
here
us,
today.
Spencer. Yeah, appreciate it.
My love is like a powder keg. My love is like a powder keg in the corner of an empty warehouse somewhere just outside of town, about to burn down. between Greece and Albania. Our love is like the border between Greece and Albania. Trucks loaded down with weapons, crossing over every night, moon yellow and bright. There is a shortage in the blood supply. There is no shortage of blood. The way I feel about you, baby, can't explain it. You got the best of my love. Didn't ever really doubt it. You said that you could live without it, and watch your reruns on the floor. You always had a knack for business. You had a sweet tooth and quick forgiveness, and I think it's safe to say that you got bored. I hope you're eating that Oreo ice cream, buying it by the pine at the dollar store. Every time the doorbell rings, the part of my heart where you are sings, but it ain't your voice anymore. Bet you're somewhere like Miami. Always said you wanted somewhere sandy where you could spend your nights on a starlit shore. Out stoking little fires, making gardens out of old car tires, and watching reruns on the floor. I hope you're eating that Oreo ice cream, buying it by the pine at the dollar store. Every time the doorbell rings, the part of my heart where you are sings, but it ain't your voice anymore. Every time the doorbell rings, the part of my heart where you are sings, but it ain't your voice anymore.
Orillia, recorded live on Sessions from Studio A. Closing out our show this week with that original song, Oreo Ice Cream, and before that we heard a cover of the Mountain Goats' International Small Arms Traffic Blues. Thanks so much to Orillia for playing for us on this week's show, and to you for listening in. You can check out Orillia's debut album on streaming services now and available for purchase over on Bandcamp. He's got a show coming up this Saturday in Chicago at Judson and Moore Distillery, opening for Lee Baines III. You can find more info about that on his Instagram, Orillia with 3 L's, and head over to WNIJ.org to find this full episode and more episodes of Sessions from Studio A. Sessions from Studio A is produced at WNIJ Studios by yours truly, along with Mike Lundgren and Sam Knopfsker. Production intern is Royce Pataris. I'm Spencer Tritz, and thanks so much for joining me this week on Sessions from Studio A.